Well, we are here with a very special guest on our Van Halen video special. Many of you know him as Little Michael Anthony from the Hot for Teacher video. His name is Yano Anaya. How are you, buddy?
Doing wonderful. How you doing?
Excellent, excellent. We're glad to have you on. We're huge fans of your work, and we'll get into all of his work. You know him not just from the Hot for Teacher video, but from other things too. We're going to get into that later. But in order
awesome, thank you.
Cool. And we wanted to start off. How did you initially get the Van Halen video gig?
Well, I mean, I was a working actor at that age, and it just so happened to be that I booked that. Well, actually, it was about a year after my first movie, A Christmas Story.
Right.
And so, I mean, you know, I got an audition, and I went down and rocked my audition. And I guess because I looked very similar to a younger Michael Anthony Jr., they booked me.
Wow, that's great. And do you remember, was it in '83 when you did this, or was it '84?
It was in '83. It was late '83, right before '84 came out.
Late '83. Okay, cool. Excellent. How old were you at the time?
13.
13. That's awesome. Perfect age. Did you know who the band was?
Oh, my God. They were my favorite band on the planet besides Motley Crue.
That's amazing. When you found out what it was, did you flip out?
You absolutely right, man. It was a dream come true. I couldn't even believe that I got to spend 4 days with the hottest band on the planet at the time.
And so tell me, what were the specifications for the audition?
Well, man, I think it was just go in there and act like you're playing an air guitar. That's all it was.
Okay. And did they tell you that it was Van Halen, or did they hide that from you?
Oh, no, I knew that from the phone call that I got from my manager at the time, even before the audition.
Wow, that's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And so,
yeah, I was really surprised to get a call saying that I'm going for a Michael Anthony Jr. role for the Hot for Teacher video.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
And how did you get along with the other three guys?
Well, actually, Alex Jr. I got along with pretty well. The other two, I don't know. I think they were just a little younger than we were, and so you know, I thought I was hot shit at 13 years old. So I don't think they were quite teenagers just yet.
Right. Okay. So they were younger than you. Okay. Cool. The video, as we all know, is a little bit risque for young kids. So were your parents concerned at all, or no?
I mean, no. I mean, that's, you know, understand that it was my job. You know what I mean? And at the time of that one scene where you see us fondling the teacher's legs,
right?
That was the producer's call. I mean, he wanted to see that. So the director told us, go ahead and touch her legs, and we were like, what? Okay. And so, I mean, it wasn't necessarily even asking permission from parents. It was just off the fly, the kind of thing you do when you film.
Wow. So
as a 13-year-old, are you sitting there going, I can't believe I'm getting paid for this?
Absolutely correct. That's exactly what went through my mind, to be honest with you. And then, of course, after that went through my mind, I'm thinking, oh my God, I can't even imagine what my mom's going to say about this.
I'm sure she found
were
out.
Were your parents on the set?
I don't think any of the parents ever even knew.
Oh my God! In today's world, that never happened.
Never. Not today's world.
It's amazing.
Too much technology.
Of course. So now, all of the stuff that was filmed with the model, you were there for all that?
No, not all of it.
Okay.
It was just, mainly the classroom.
Right.
Like the other, there was a couple of scenes where she was dancing on the stage, but that was done, privately, and then they would put us into a classroom,
right,
and back and forth. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like they did it all in one shot.
Now, were you going to school regularly, or were you homeschooled because of your work?
Oh no, I was in public school.
Oh wow! Did you have to keep this under wraps and secret, and not tell anybody until it came out?
No, it's not like it is nowadays, man. You don't get gag orders and stuff like that nowadays.
Wow.
I mean, like nowadays.
Right.
So, I mean, it was. When I got the audition, when I booked it, all my friends already knew. As a matter of fact, I took friends to film.
Wow.
I had an entourage. I brought like 3 or 4 friends with me to hang out.
That's incredible. So,
yeah.
How was the model to you? Was she nice?
Yeah, she was a sweetheart.
Yeah?
Yeah, she was probably 22 or 23 years old at the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm only 13, so of course it's like, she's like one of my teachers, to be honest with you. That's kind of what the age range was.
That's awesome.
I guess you didn't have any reservations about,
Not at all.
doing what you had to do.
Not at all.
That's
Not
great.
at all.
That's cool.
It's good to be you, Yano. It's good to be you.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
I got to tell you, man, it was one of the best experiences I had in my life, was to be able to have that 4 days. It was that cool.
Wow. That's amazing. So what kind of direction were you given throughout the whole shoot?
I mean, just act like a crazy rock star, man, and just be crazy. Is basically what it was. Just act cool, be crazy, be a rock star. So.
And did you get to spend time with the band to try to absorb their personalities?
Well, I mean, that wasn't something that they required us to do.
Right.
But I can tell you that was something that I most definitely took advantage of.
Wow.
So, I mean, you got to remember that Van Halen was my favorite band on the planet.
Right.
And so the first day we got to set, of course, the first thing I did was I said, Mom, where is Van Halen's trailer? I want to go knock on their door. And she's like, you're not supposed to do that. You got to get permission. I'm like, peace. So I went and found their trailer, and I knocked on the door all by myself.
Wow.
And Alex Van Halen opened up the door, and he said, what are you going, kid? I said, well, I'm playing Michael Anthony Jr., and I'd like to come in and hang out with you guys. And he looked around, and he said, come on in.
That's awesome. So what happened in the trailer?
Oh, man, I don't even know if I should disclose all that.
Really?
But, I mean, it was, I got to tell you, it was, Alex Van Halen was probably the coolest cat on the planet, dude. I mean, he as his age, remember, they were in their 20s. So, I mean, he must have really loved kids, because he sat with me and we had conversation, and he played card games with me and drank alcohol and shared food, and Alex was a phenomenal dude, and Michael Anthony, he was cool. He came and he hung out, but Alex did most of the talking.
Wow.
Eddie Van Halen was very cool too, but really kind of quiet, I guess. And David Roth, I mean, he stayed in the back of the trailer the whole time.
Oh, really?
And so I mean, that one solo that Eddie Van Halen does on Running with the Devil.
Yeah.
I asked him to do that for me, and he did it, man.
That's awesome. That's killer.
That was awesome. That was like a dream come true. I wish they had an
qualms about
amplifier in the trailer that didn't.
So you had no qualms about asking them about anything?
Nah, man. Nah, it was an open book, dude. I mean, they were just, you got to remember, it was in the early 80s, and they were in their 20s, and they were in their highlights, so they're young millionaires, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nice.
And they're just having a blast, man, you know what I mean? And I'm just this kid that comes in doing a 4-day shoot. I mean, if you really pay attention to their whole persona and their mannerisms, you could tell that they were just having a blast in life at that time, man.
Oh, sure. Well, the top of the world. Hey, so
Absolutely.
Was Alex giving you beers?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I gotta tell you. So when he says, okay, check it out, man. Have you ever, beer bonged a beer before? And I was like, well, of course I've done a beer bong, but I don't know what you're talking about. And so he said, well, go in the back and grab a couple beers. And so I went into the back, and that's when I met Dave Lee Roth, because he was back there. And I said, Dave, he's like, well, who are you? What are you doing in this trailer? And I was like, oh, I'm Michael Anthony Jr. You know what I mean? I was hanging out with Alex. He's like, well, whatever. He's like, the beers are in the cooler right there. And so I opened it up, and guess what kind of beer they drank, dude?
It was like Schlitz, right?
Schlitz malt liquor. That's exactly what it was.
Unbelievable.
Tall cans.
That's the
Tall
stuff.
cans.
Unbelievable.
And so
They're at the top
I
of
brought
their
two
game,
back, and
dude.
of course Alex said, well, this is how you do it. You know what I mean? He popped the hole in the bottom of it, beers everywhere, and he popped the top, and he put it down. He says, okay, now you got to do this in less than 5 seconds. I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? He's like, no, I'm dead serious. Dead serious. So he basically made me drink a beer.
Sorry.
That's not the first time he's
No,
done that with
you got to remember, I was 13 years old. I wasn't that much of a party animal.
Right.
And drinking Schlitz malt liquor, I could not pass up that opportunity to drink with Alex Van Halen. Sorry, I couldn't do it.
Oh God.
So I did it.
Wow. Now, was your mom? Did she drop you off, or was she like waiting outside the trailer?
Oh yeah, no, she was on set, but she was kicking it with the other mothers. You know what I mean? So
Right.
You know what I mean? She's mingling and she's talking and she's networking. You know what I mean? And so I was just hanging out in the trailer. She knew where I was. I wasn't going anywhere. I'm not going to leave it. You know,
Right.
I want to hang out as long as I can. So
were you drunk on the set?
For a little while, yes, man. You got imagine 13-year-old kid. I mean, I'm like, 5 foot tall and $120 and, one tall Schlitz malt liquor, man. It'll do it to you.
Wow, that's amazing.
So how did you notice the band getting along with each other? How did they interact with each other?
That's a good question. I think it was that time, in life where Dave, I mean, if you know the history of their relationships, Dave was kind of, on his own. He was not very relatable, at least to me in my experience. But I mean, I could tell you that, Mike and Eddie and Alex all got along very well from what I remember.
Right. And so tell me, how long was the shoot? You said 4 days?
Yep, 4 days. So
you had 4 full days of doing all of this?
Yep. Well, I got 2 full days in the trailer, and then the other days, they were shooting all the time, so there was no trailer time.
All right,
so I got 2 days in the trailer for probably at least 3 to 5 hours.
Now, how did you gel with Michael Anthony, the guy you were imitating?
Oh, it was very cool. I mean, it was like, they were like, for me, of course, it's a dream come true for me. So I'm kind of picturing them that like they're my big brothers. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm kicking it with rock stars.
Were they contemplating putting a beard on you?
No, not at all. No, not at all. He didn't. No, they didn't.
Now, I had heard a rumor that he gave you one of his earrings. Is that true?
That's funny you say that. It wasn't an earring. It was actually a necklace. How did you hear that?
It was online.
No shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. Well, he had this. It was like a little tiny silver, like buck knife, and it was probably maybe an inch long.
Right.
And he said he got it somewhere, like in Germany or something like that. It was on a silver necklace, and I was like, man, that is so dope. Of course, I'm 13 years old. I was into knives at the time.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And so I complimented on how much, how cool it was. And he just took it off his neck and gave it to me, dude.
Wow. And you still have it?
No, I don't, man. I lost it in the earthquake.
Oh,
in 94.
No. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was,
so,
yeah.
In terms of the location of where it was filmed, what school was that filmed at?
Los Feliz High School.
Did they shut the school down?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Wow. What time of year was it?
Oh, wow. That's a good question, man. It had to have been springtime, I believe, because it was beautiful outside.
Right. So that must have been...
I don't remember exactly what time of the year it is. I'm sure you can Google it.
So now, that must have been 84 then, because the album came out in January.
It was.
Yeah.
Then, it had to have been 84.
Yeah. So now,
it had to have been 84.
Did you have the album, and were you familiar with the record?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah? All right, cool.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that was more of when Jump came out, I was more of, or 1984, I liked their prior, records more, because it was more of like garage band hard rock. You know what I mean? When 84 came out, it was kind of more mainstream. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely. And in terms of when the video came out, and that's known as like, it's like up there with Michael Jackson's Thriller as one of the best videos of all time. So when the video came out and exploded, how did that impact your life?
It didn't really impact my life. I mean, because nobody recognized me at the time.
Really?
So yeah, it was like all my friends, and of course the school that I go to, they know that they knew that I was an actor, and they knew that I'd done a lot of stuff.
Right.
And but it was not like somebody on the street can be like, "Oh my God, that's Michael Anthony Jr." No, it was never like that.
Did they put a hair piece on you, or was that your hair?
That was my hair. They just teased the hell out of it and put a gang hairspray in it.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And they dressed you obviously based on Michael's clothing and stuff?
Yeah.
That's great. I remember seeing the video, and you had such a little attitude on you when they show you initially when you're sitting in the stool and you throw the thing out of your mouth. That's great.
That's right.
Did they tell you to do that, or was that just something?
Absolutely.
They did.
No, they told me. Yeah, they told me. You act like a little smartass.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Who directed the video?
I think it was Pete, Angelus, and Dave, right?
Man, I to be honest with you, I think it was Dave was a producer, but I don't remember who else was involved.
I think it was Pete and Dave. Dave. I think it was Pete and Dave. In terms of VH, did they give you any tickets to a show or any VH gear or anything?
Nope.
Really? Oh man!
Wow.
No, I mean I got a No Bozo T-shirt signed, but that's long gone too.
Was that your shirt though?
Yeah, it was my shirt.
Okay, and you brought that and Eddie signed it for you?
Yeah.
Did they take pictures with you?
Oh yeah, I got a gang of pictures.
Oh, that's cool. You still have those?
That's awesome.
Oh yeah. Oh, of course.
Oh, that's great. That's great. As you know, that video is over 30 years old now, but it still stands as one of the greatest of all time. And to this day, it's almost like something you'd put in a time capsule for the 80s, you know, because it really captured the essence of MTV, and that's a video that, you know, if someone said name 5 videos, that would be one they would point out.
That would be one of them.
Yeah.
Yep,
So what did
Yep.
that mean to you to have that kind of legacy, to be part of something like that?
I mean, really, man, it's there's really no words. I mean, it's inconceivable to believe that, or even that I was a part of something that has been, you know, classified as a piece of history. So I mean, that's like the second one in my lifetime. So I'm just, you know, I'm so grateful that I had that opportunity to be a part of that.
So now, through the years, did you ever see Van Halen afterwards? Did you ever meet them again, or did you ever get any contact with them?
You know, I didn't, man, and I really wish that I have had that opportunity. I mean, even when I learned that, you know, Alex's son was going to go on tour,
right?
I'm sorry, Eddie's son was going to go on tour, with Alex. Right. I reached out, and you know, all my connections are no longer there. You know what I mean? So it was, I don't know anybody to be able to get me to that point.
Sure.
I'd love to be able to find somebody. That'd be awesome, because I'd love to be able to see him again.
Now, after the whole '84 thing, as you well know, Dave left the band and Sammy Hagar came in. What was your opinion of that whole swing?
Well, you know, it's you have to remember that I mean, Van Halen was one of my favorite bands on the planet.
Right.
You know what I mean? In 80, 81, 82, and when David Lee Roth left and and Sammy Hagar came in, to me they just weren't Van Halen anymore.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah, and so they were different band. We call them Van Hagar. It's a separate band to us.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we called them too, Van Hagar. They were no longer Van Halen.
Now, did you ever
even though it's their last name?
Did you ever get to see them live?
I saw Van Halen and Motley Crue at the Troubadour in Hollywood, California. It was like 81.
At the Troubadour?
Yeah, the Troubadour.
Oh wow, it's a small place, no?
Oh, it was tiny. I mean, there was only literally maybe 60 or 70 people can fit in there.
Well, how old were you? Like 11 years old?
Yep, I was either, I think it was 10 and a half, 11 years old. Yep, my mom took me.
Well, let's see. I think you're the same.
Van Halen was at the Troubadour in '81.
Maybe it was like
Maybe it was like, so, yes.
We got to get Nolan on this, David. I think it must have been like some sort of like promotional gig or something. But that's interesting to see. So, and Motley Crue opened for them?
Yep, that's correct.
In terms of the band going forward, did you continue to listen to the band with Sammy, or did you pick up with them when they what about when they reunited with Dave?
I mean, it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same to me. I mean, I would always just go back to the old school albums, man.
Yeah.
I never, you know, it was like, you know how even with like old school like Metallica, you listen to Metallica back in the day, you listen to them now, they're totally different band.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, for me, it was like Van Halen just really changed.
Okay, all right, cool. So that's great. It's great that you hold court for the old school, you know, and you still listen to your VH records? Your Van Halen albums. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, good. Do you have a favorite?
Oh, man. I mean, I'd have to say my Running with the Devil is my favorite song still.
Okay.
But I mean, there's just a lot of songs from the old school albums that I love.
Do you still keep in touch with any of the three guys who played the young Van Halen?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I have no idea where they are.
Let's say you're at the gym working out and Hot For Teacher comes on, or you're driving down the road and Hot For Teacher comes on the radio. What goes through your mind?
One of the best experiences I had in my life, man. I mean, it just brings me right back to the trailer, dude.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
That trailer.
So, yeah, I mean, it was right back to the trailer, dude. I mean, there was just, I mean, it was so much fun, man. You know what I mean?
That's fantastic.
It was just so much fun kicking with those dudes. I wish that we had the technology back then that I do today, because I would have filmed. I would have had selfies. I would have had all kinds of stuff.
I know, and
But, I mean,
Alex would have been in jail.
Exactly. I mean, everybody had brick phones back then. You know what I mean?
know, yeah.
So it was really different, man.
Exactly. Well, it's so cool that he was so hospitable to you, and he made you feel like one of the guys. That's amazing.
Yeah, he made me really feel comfortable, man. It was awesome.
That's so cool.
Whoa! How about that for rock video